me please just to reminisce. Such splendor, beauty beyond words, like the colors of the hummingbird, or the great sight in the sunset's midst of the late flight of scarlet ibis. Music playing through the swaying trees, and notes floating on Caribbean breeze. Man a Trinidad, blessed from coast to coast, Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. 60, thank God we make 60. As a Trini, a glad and a proud. T&T, on this great jubilee, I must sing all your praises loud. Friends and fuss if you will, cuss and even talk a ill, but see dress up to Charlottesville. I really love the country still. Still, 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 from the valley to the highest hill, I really love the country still. Still, all you sing it. Still, still, da 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 da. Land of tolerance and discipline, but we take chance when it come to bling. For your gold chain, crooks will maim and kill. Though we have brain, look, we wear it still. Talk about talent everywhere pass, from the pavement to savannah grass. And it's so calm, my Lord, it's sweet. Drunk or sober, whining to the beat. Man a Trinity, hot from coast to coast, Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. 60, thank God we make 60. As a Trini, a glad and a proud. T&T, on this great jubilee, I must sing all your praises, Lord. To make we all know isn't hard, 'cause passion is our ID card. Whether Tobago or Trinidad, I really love my country. Bad, 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 bad. I felt it like I'm going mad, 'cause I really love my country. Bad, 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 bad. Da 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 da. Big song coming, but we show no fear, 'cause we liming and we drinking beer. And then truly, when it's all okay, God is a Trini, that is what we say. Calypso, that's our favorite song. Boy, it's simple, and then let's be calm. And at Christmas, when stockings say hang, take a drink first, then we sing parang. Man a Trinity, sweat from coast to coast, Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. 60, thank God we make 60. As a Trini, a glad and a proud. T&T, on this great jubilee, I must sing all your praises, Lord. Fret and fuss if you will, cuss and even talk I will, but see just up to Charlottesville. I really love my country still. All you sing it. Still, 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 from the valley to the highest hill, I really love so nice. Relaxation is our favorite vice. By the river, big cook and big lime. Later for labor, and that's no crime. Can't eat bad, parade on the street. Bacana, everywhere is heat. Just the music to twist up your spine. Pure magic, the way how we whine. Mala Trinity, says from coast to coast. Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. 60, thank God we make 60. As a Trinity, I'm glad and I'm proud. TNT, on this great jubilee, I must sing all your praises, Lord. And to make we all know isn't hard. Cause passion is our ID card. Whether Tobago or Trinidad, I really love the country. Bad, 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 bad. I'm fetting like I going mad. Cause I really love my country. Bad, 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 bad. Da 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 da. Bad, give me low. Give me low. Happy 6 years of independence. I want we to do one thing before I go. I want everybody on this side. I want all you to sing still. And I want this side to sing bad. Right? This side is bad. This side is still. So here we going. I'm going to start with this side first. Sing it. Still. 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 Sing. From the valley to the highest hill. I really love my country still. Let me hear them, let me hear them. Still. What? Still. La da 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 da. I want to hear this side. Hear what you're singing from me, we going bad. Sing it. Bad. I'm fetting like I going mad. Cause I really love my country. Sing it out. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Aaron Duncan. Hey. La da 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 da.
Oh, yeah.
As the first premier of this country, I say to you that this day, August 31st, 1962, our independence, be forever known as our commitment to the country. For no greater love hath any man than one who laid down his life for his friend. And so today I urge you, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country.
Happy 60th Independence to Trinidad and Tobago. It's all about you, country first. From the day that we were born, you held us in your arms and you never let us go. From the day the first ship came and slavery brought with it a time of pain and sorrow. The bloody, sweaty tears, the sting of the whip. Slavery gone, now they talk in apprenticeship. Then indenture's came, and so lived the history of the sugar cane. As colonialism we fight it, no more to call we self-British. You fought to give us a voice, now we free to make we own choice. We own anthem and we own flag, proud to be called Tobago and Trinidad. So if my country asks me to lay down my life, but she make that ultimate sacrifice, I would do it for she, all because she's been doing it for me. If she asks me, I don't know about no one else, to stick with she until she catch herself, I would do it for she, all because she's been doing it for me. If she asks me just to hold a little strength through these hard times to help she rise again, I would do it for she, all because she's been doing it for me. I say thank you, Trinidad, for all the things you do. I can't pay you back, but I will stand for the red, white, and black. If I have to carry you on my back, I will. For the red, white, and black. The journey may be long, but I won't turn back. I will stand for the red, white, and black. Now colonialism done. Bye-bye to massa and bye-bye to the crown. August 31st, 1962. As one we stood and as one we vowed to go down. Then block by block by block we began to build. Short in cash but rich in desire and will. We work side by side without race, but side by side and side by side in this place. And then we laid the foundation, discipline, tolerance and production. With pride we worked and we believed, as together we aspired and we achieved. All for a land just to call our own, Trinidad and Tobago, our land, our home. So if my country asks me to lay down my life, for she made that ultimate sacrifice, I will do it for she, all because she's been doing it for me. If she asks me, I don't know about no one else, to stand with she until she catch herself, I will do it for she, all because this land has been doing it for me. If she asks me just to hold a little strain through this hard time to help she rise again, I will do it for she, all because she's been doing it for me. I say thank you, Trinidad, for all the things you do. Girl, I can't pay you back, but I will stand for the red, white, and black. If I have to carry you on my back, I will. For the red, white, and black. Girl, the journey may be long, but I won't turn back. I will stand for the red, white, and black. Now the oil it start to flow, production for so, Trinidad start to grow. Trinidad Lantern show, the way you come out from, Mr. Panman and Calypso, the voice the people's voice, the Calypsonian, a vibe, a soulful vibe, the sound of the pan. Shot the rise as Tassa drummers play, baila, baila, parangas, hips start to sway, with one voice in 1976, run coffee run, come boy get them licks. Then we saw beauty unfold, Penny girl look you shock the world. For the rest all you set the tone, Lara York and Kishon with every javelin throw. So if my country asks me to lay down my life, for she make that ultimate sacrifice, why I go do it for she, all because she's been doing it for me. If she asks me, I don't know about no one else, to stand with she until she catch herself, why I go do it for she, all because my land has been doing it for me. If she asks me just to hold a little straight through these hard times to help she rise again, I go do it for she, all because she's been doing it for me. I say thank you, Trinidad, for all the things you do. Girl, I can't pay you back, but I will stand for the red, white, and black. If I have to carry you on my back, I will. For the red, white, and black. Girl, the journey may be long, but I won't turn back. I will stand for the red, white, and black. After all the sacrifice, the red, white, and black look it proudly flying high. Even through our darkest days, it's only as one people we won't get by. No crime or no pandemic can pull us down. With our resilience we could beat any recession. We've always trusted in the power of prayer. The Lord is our shepherd, so we shall not fear. So the time is now more than ever to be a true patriot, a true soldier. Every home and every community, every auntie, bougie, grandpa and granny, we marching on hand in hand for Trinidad and Tobago, our blessed land. Yeah, 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 yeah. So now we country need we to lay down we life. Come let we make that ultimate sacrifice. Come let we do it for she. All because Tobago has been doing it for we. This ain't no time for we to think about self. Each one you got to tell someone else. Come let we do it for she. All because my lad has been doing it for we. We got to band together and hold it straight. And she got to make me rise again. Come let we do it for she. All because she's been doing it for we. I say thank you Trinidad for all the things you do. Girl, we can't pay back, but we will stand for the red, white and black. If we have to carry on, we back, we will stand for the red, white and black. The journey may be long, but we won't turn back. We will stand for the red, white and black. If we have to carry on, we back, we will for the red, white and black. Jolly journey may be long, but we won't turn back. We will stand for the red, white and black. Low. Let me hear you. I want to sing exactly that. For the red, white and black. The journey may be long, but I won't turn back. I will stand for the red, white and black. Girl, if we have to carry on, we back, we will stand for the red, white and black. Girl, the journey may be long, but we won't turn back. We will stand for the red, white and black. And if we have to carry on, we back, we will stand for the red, white and black.
I love my culture. I love soca. I love calypso.
My culture is the best in the world.
I love chutney. I love Trini pop. I love pan.
The feeling is real.
I love my country. We love WACK. Our culture never stops.
Taking our culture to the world. WACK 90.1 FM. San Fernando, Trinidad, and Tobago. Now you can see the radio. Step into the future with visual radio. Only on WACK 90.1 FM. Set the city on fire. We're here for you.
We about to get the party jumping. You already know what it is.
And Gaizo, Soca.
Now we do.
No one does it like WACK 90.1 FM.
Turn it up.
The Culture Crazy Station. Now you can see the radio. Step into the future with visual radio. Only on WACK 90.1 FM.
If it's good for me. It's good for you.
And this is where we check in and you say good evening, good evening, good evening. And it is now 10 minutes past 7 o'clock. And I'm joined tonight by my esteemed friend, my worthless partner, but esteemed friend, the one and only Louis MacArthur Nathaniel Itelbot Nuth. So, Mr. Lewis, let me start by saying one of my announcers some days ago was calling down this increase of gas price, right? And I said, unless you're sure, don't cry wolf, right? Don't cry wolf unless you're sure. Because, I mean, oh gosh, And he said he was sure because there was a pre-budget something. And of course, you know what I mean? What is this man saying here? I seen something, I have to check. Right. So I'm saying he called it down, and I seen before you call, you cry wolf for your shout fire in a cinema, let us be sure. And then let us be sure of what the remedy or steps that will be taken. You know, if you can say, hey, we're going to do so, but I'm going to do this to alleviate that, and I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that, but we just crying wolf. So I had to apologize to my host who called it out because the price raised, and I want to find out tonight what is the situation, why. Talk. Yeah. Go ahead. I am in charge of the background. Yeah. So yeah, I'm saying I want to know what. First and foremost, the new prices of premium is $7.75, super $6.91, and diesel $4.41. Right? That's because oil prices are in the range of $90. Right? So, some prices went up by $1 and some prices went up by 50 cents. Diesel went up by 50 cents.
Yeah.
So I'm saying that, and that is the point I want to kick off. They call it, and this is what it is. Right?
Yes.
So Mr. Lewis of Nurse, the man who has all the secrets of the PNM, I want you to tell me, where's that one? Where are we? What's going on?
Well, the first thing I want to say is good evening, Trinidad and Tobago, and all who are listening on WACK Radio. I think it's important for us to put the budget in a proper context. That's the first thing the minister did that I thought was very important. A budget is a statement of intent. It sets the strategy for the economy. We are in 2023, and what we're trying to do is set the strategy from which all of us would be able to benefit. So first we have to look at the global situation. The truth is that we are price takers in our society. We import 90% of what we use. However, we've had a government that has operated over the last 40 years with a patronage, subsidized support, and Trinidad and Tobago citizens are accustomed to not paying the true cost of things. Right? Now, all of that could be sustained if the revenues are there. But the truth is, over the last couple of years, the government of Trinidad and Tobago has been operating where total national revenue has been lower than total national expenditure. And that total national expenditure has led to deficit budgets. 16 billion because of COVID, right? So it means that the government is borrowing, and when you borrow, you have to pay back. So that our national debt and the national debt payments is now beginning to shrink government's free cash or liquidity to spend on other things. So that means that we have to reduce subsidies. Start from there. But the truth is, we are importing gas. If you import in gas, and gas in America is $5 a gallon. So $5 a gallon is about $30 a gallon here, right? It means that you are bringing in the gas using foreign exchange, right? When you bring in the gas, that's the price of the gas. So the truth is, the government has discussed before that they would liberalize the economy, liberalize the gas regime, and it reaches a point where we can't afford, and that is what the minister did. He put it in the context of, do I spend $2 billion to keep the price of gas low, or do I cap the subsidy at $1 billion and then use the next $1 billion to give $1,000 to the disadvantaged in a transportation grant to increase people's personal income tax. That's what he's done. He has redirected the expenditure in a manner that it allows people greater responsibility in how they manage themselves.
So, again, Louis, you are defending, but that's okay.
So I'm not defending. The truth is, you have to look at it from a management point of view. If you're sitting down and you are, now look at this issue with Trinidad and Tobago is using US dollars to import gas, to pay for electricity, to pay for water, to pay for fuel for Caribbean Airlines, and all these things, okay? But where does US dollars come from?
Okay.
It comes from the energy sector, generally.
But right, and generally, isn't the cost per barrel now up? And I vaguely heard that Heritage made X amount of billions in profit.
Yes, but
over 4 billion or something like that. Did I hear correct?
I don't want to argue about the number, but what I want to tell you is that our oil production is down. That's the facts. Our oil production is down. So even though the price of oil has gone up,
we ain't doing enough.
We ain't doing enough to produce oil to really make. We have come down from 200,000 barrels when Texaco was around to about 59,000 barrels a day now. Right. Then our gas production is also down. So we've come from 4.2 billion in units now to 3 point something. And as a result of that, 8 plants closed in Point Lisas. People must remember that. So because of that, even though the price, which is the international price, has gone up.
So are we on par with the world now, or are we still not there?
No, we just below. We just below. Because what the minister did was predicate the budget on a price of oil of $92.
$90, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So he's looking at a $56 billion income with a $57 billion expenditure. So we have to pray that the price of oil stays at $90.
Or goes up.
Or goes up. Okay?
All right.
If that happens, well, everybody good. But what you have to remember is that we are buying gas on the open international market. And if we are doing that and bringing it to Trinidad, because when people driving up and down, you are literally burning US dollars in people trunk and people tank. So therefore, I want to tell Trinidad and Tobago, instead of arguing about the price of gas, start looking at your personal responsibility in your driving habits and the things that you do to stay within your budget. We keep talking about the price going up and the price going up, and if the price going up, everybody going to increase their prices.
But in what is the fact is when gas price go up, everything is go up.
Well, that is the problem. When the gas price goes up by $1, right? That's let's call that 20% because it's about $5. Right. How much if I'm a taxi driver? How much
are they increase?
How much trips do I have to make up for that $1? And what you're going to find is that when they talk about raising the price, it's not done on an accounting basis. It's done on an emotional basis. And because of that...
So as gas going up $1, they raise my fare by $1.
That's right.
And when they raise the fare by $1, then that means the trucks and the transportation for goods will go up. So all goods will end up going up by some odd percentage.
That's right.
Not a ratio percentage. So all goods in the grocery going to start to go up by but even we're saying that it doesn't have a hey look, Mr. Nurse, say good evening KP and Mr. Nurse. My son's middle name is Nathaniel. Whenever you want intelligent opinions, you have to call a nurse. Oh my God. I would like to call a doctor. I have a doctor who's a nurse here.
Yes.
Nice. So no, but I'm saying what you're saying here, in effect, is that all the increases are not necessarily in ratio with the increase of gas. That's what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying. So the ministers already agreed to meet the public halfway by still subsidizing the price of fuel in Trinidad.
A little bit.
Right, a little bit. But here what's important, that the rest of the world, you made a point just now, which I think people must remember, is the issue is inflation. Because inflation is not, it's called list price inflation, which is the price that you pay at the pump or the price that you pay at the grocery. But look at the things that drive those prices. And let me give you an example that we must remember. The biggest producer of goods in the world is China. China has a problem with water. Water has created hydroelectric dams, so that means they have a problem with electricity. No water means the rivers have less water, produces less electricity. Because of that, factories in China, in particular areas, are shut down. What it does, it reduces the availability of inventory that is leaving China to go to the markets of the rest of the world. Now, what we had done in doing our supply chain management, they introduced just in time. So nobody's keeping a whole warehouse of stuff. Everything is timed to come in on time to meet the turnover that you expect. So when the goods leave in China, with the price of oil going up, the price of transportation on the ships have gone up, right? The price of transportation on the ships have gone up, which means that the cost, insurance, and freight for the item, and when it reaches a country, also goes up. Now, when that cost, insurance, and freight price lands in Port of Spain, the government taxes are a percentage of that landed price, right? So it means that landed price, when you go to the internal costs of transportation, the internal cost of electricity, and the minister said that the Regulated Industries Commission is looking at electricity and water.
Yeah, that's my next question. I'll come into that.
Yeah, so what happens is when you look at all those costs, when it reaches, the goods reach to the point of where the consumer gets it, the consumer has to pay the price. That's what economics is. And we have to now look at our needs and look at our wants and be able to adjust our spending to suit our pocket. You can't, that is as simple as that. Because the prices that you are facing are outside of the government's control. They are externally driven, cost push inflation.
All right. Okay, Mr. Nurse, I hear you. So you see, we've been pampered for a long time.
Yes.
And this is where the rubber hitting the road. And something's gotta give. But you realize whatever giving is in the Baba Green. Remember the Baba Green man from the last 2-3 years?
Yes.
It's in the Baba Green man pocket that it hit him.
Yes.
This Baba Green man didn't have a degree, he didn't have a doctorate, he didn't have an MBA, he's not a doctor, he's a nurse. All he knew, Stalin said, sufferers don't care, they want to know where the next meal coming from. But this is hard on the Baba Green man.
That's correct.
Right? And I really analyze this budget in any form yet, because it now finished read and you were listening. I wasn't. I can't listen to that because I know it's pressure for me. So what I'm saying though is that now what measures are put in place now to alleviate the pressure of the Baba Green man?
Well, one of the things that we have to remember, the government is pushing a cashless society, and the budget has incentives for people who are pushing the card and these things,
and
right?
Bank transfers,
bank transfers and stuff. And I want you to understand that, because we are living in a reset world, a world where governments are using technology to control their societies, and in controlling their societies to control our activities. And
that ain't something good,
But it is the facts. Okay. Because once they have, if you ever watch NCIS,
yes,
when you watch a lady, she could go on the computer,
pull up anything from anybody, anywhere, anytime. Right. Yes,
that is where we go in terms of our technology.
Okay.
So the government talk about Phoenix Park operating on a 5G network. Now, how does that affect the man in Baba Green? That before you could have money, but now they are going to a cashless society. And the government is saying that people who don't have bank accounts, they will set up intermediaries who will accept payments for them. But all their services will go to electronic, and you must join the electronic crowd. That's where we are. So the man on the Baba Green has to now look at paying his taxes. The man on the Baba Green has to start looking at keeping accounts. Because if you're not doing that, we have other laws like unexplained wealth, tax evasion. So the government also offered in this budget another tax amnesty. Bring all it from November the 14th to February 2023. There's a tax amnesty that allows everybody without penalty to bring their tax up to date. Now, when you do that, everybody now is in the net.
Somehow people is follow the net. But
yeah, but that's the plan. So what I'm saying is, going for electronic government, going for the digital economy, having the Ministry of Digital Transformation, having Phoenix Park being set up with the 5G network, all of that means that the man in Baba Green have to grow up. People have to be trained, people have to be educated in financial literacy so that they can mind their business. Otherwise, they will face the penalties under these laws that have been passed.
All right. It's 7:27 in the PM, and I have a lot of questions coming in from your namesake online, Mr. Doric, Dancer Boy Nurse. He said, Colm Imbert said unequivocally, the government cannot give more than the 4% the unions are asking for. How would that impact those industries?
Well, the thing is, it wouldn't impact the industries. It impacts on the cost. You see, if you are operating up where national income is less than national expenditure, even though he said he's going to earn 56, he's still spending 57. It means that any increase in costs, remember, when the government gives a 4% increase, it also affects increments, public sector increments every year because the number goes up. It also affects pensions, right? And therefore, what the government is saying is we don't have the income to do it. Even though we get a higher price of oil, it's a blip. It is not sustainable. But salaries are contracts that are sustainable for the next 20 years. So therefore, the government is saying that all we could afford is 4%. And the minister gave some examples to show, well, listen, if it goes, 19% is what they want. We talking about what the government offering. But what they're asking for, 19%. And he says 19% will cost the country
200 million.
No, $50 billion.
50 billion.
Yes, in back pay or 50, either 50 or 15. I'm not sure if I heard it right, but the bottom line is the expense, we can't afford the back pay. What he said is, if you take your 4%, I still have to borrow to pay you, but I will borrow the $4 billion and I will pay you, and everybody will get their back pay and go forward. So 4%, people keep looking at the government. They remember the government's resources are not infinite.
All right. You're defending good enough, but
the idea is to see what the minister did, and I want to remind the national community, this is about economics and accounting. This is about corporate governance. The minister cannot commit what he does not have. It's against the law. It's against the public service, the financial regulations. Therefore, the minister can only make commitments within a budget. And remember, the budget has to be approved by Parliament before any dollars are spent out of it. So in other words, the minister is operating in a regulated environment. And he just can't take money just so and spend it just so. And that's why the budget represents policy. So there's a policy now on fuel. We're not spending more than $1 billion. Whatever happened,
make that work.
Make that work. And same thing with the public sector wages. I mean, we are not saying that people are not deserving of higher pay. But the problem is with higher pay, if a man can't pay you, he have a choice. Either he give you a higher rate and he reduce the levels of employment, which is what the minister doesn't want. The minister said,
you don't want to send home nobody.
That's right.
I got you. Mr. Nurse also said, what is being done to assist senior citizens, of which he's king senior citizen in navigating the internet. Since we go into that digital society, what happened with senior citizens?
Well, what he's doing, what the government has said in this budget is that they're expanding the national, putting up other sites in different parts of the country.
You mean Wi-Fi
network,
sites? Hotspot networks?
Hotspot networks, right? So all the community sites.
Didn't we hear that 2-3 budgets ago?
Yeah, but they've been doing it, but they're expanding it now because
they've been doing it where? Where they have hotspots right now?
Well, I can't answer that.
Oh, because I'm a hotspot checker.
Right.
I don't know they have any real hotspots in this town.
All right.
I really don't. All right. I could be wrong because I probably just don't. I ain't going to Remand check and I ain't going Port of Spain. But I am a wrong tongue doing broadcasts, so I know where have networks. I got to walk with my own network.
And that's what he's saying too. That TSTT is now being mandated or have the facilities to expand.
Listen, I was in the 5G launch 3 or 4 or even 5 years ago, some years ago, and that was just a talk because I have not seen 5G. No, in fact, that was LTE, and after LTE came 5G, which is supposed to be double the LTE. 5G is supposed to be 100 down, 100 up. Some people not even getting that in their house and they have hard lines. So I am saying, level with the people. If you don't have 5G available, say we really are ready, but don't sell me 5G and you don't have 5G.
Well, the minister mentioned that there's a 5G in the Phoenix Park.
But that is the Phoenix Park is the industrial area.
Yes.
So it's supposed to have that.
Right.
But 5G was sold. It's being sold to the Marish and the Paris, and this is what the new thing is going to be.
Yeah, but we don't have that.
We don't have that yet, and it's been a while they're talking that.
Yeah, because see, for us to go digital, have a digital economy with all the e-payment systems, we have to have a robust information technology backbone.
Yes.
And the minister did mention that there's a plan to extend what I would call the hotspots.
Okay.
I
don't think it's extend. I think it's to build them out.
But what will help senior citizens is the capability to understand the use of technology.
Well, I think like my senior citizens who are onto this station are quite knowledgeable. Yes, there is quarrel and thing every so often and thing, but they are quite knowledgeable because they're always on YouTube, Facebook, wherever, on new WACK TV right now, and they're there. They was quarreling with me how we can't do this and we can't do that, and I am building it out as we go along. So I stick the talk, but I know I fixing.
Yes. Yes.
I'm fixing and we're going along. Because I have taken the whole, remember the Fund Me TNT?
Yes.
And the pay-per-view functions.
Yes.
I've taken those functions from Fund Me TNT and from Tizik.com, which is pay-per-view, and I've integrated them into my own site, which is WACK.tv. So now you don't have to leave my site to go and pay. You can do it right there, right here, and not miss a trick. You understand what I'm saying?
So therefore, that answers the question that with education and with practice, the age is not a barrier to learning. I don't understand why people have this thing, because one of the things they're doing now in other parts of the world, they have removed age as a discrimination. Call it age discrimination. Mm-hmm. So the government is now moving to increase the retirement age to 65. Which I think is one of the best.
That's mandatory or is optional or how it is?
No. He didn't go into it
in detail.
But the bottom line is, he mentioned that it's 65 in Barbados. So what we're saying is that increasing the retirement age is important for the National Insurance Fund.
Right.
Right. The challenge that we have at NIB is that with the drop in employment, as more and more people drop off the system, the contributions are dropping. The investments that NIB is allowed to use the money for is also not making money. And I want people to understand that because around the world, turnover is falling, turnover of businesses, revenue is falling, their profits are falling, and their share prices are falling. So when you look at your money market fund, and you look at your investment funds, a lot of them are now in the negative because of the continuous decline of the stock market valuations. So what it means is that National Insurance needs to find more capital coming in to build up the fund on the one side and reduce the payments going out on the other side to get a better match. And to do that, one of the recommendations is that they make the compulsory age of retirement 65.
Okay. Good. We're going good so far.
I think the government is moving towards that because it's something we have to do. This idea about what makes you 60 and old is a question that in other parts of the world they have rejected. What they're saying is that once people are competent, capable, as a matter of fact,
coherent.
In Japan, people work until they decide to stop.
Until they have to stop.
Yes, because that way you don't lose your experience, you don't lose your expertise, and you have the seniors who really have the capacity to carry the offices from which they have arrived at.
All right. I'm taking your defense. Defense of the budget. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, it is 7:37 and we are discussing the takeaways from the 2022 budget as read this afternoon, or this afternoon.
This afternoon.
By the Honorable Minister of Finance, Colm Tolman Imbut.
Yes.
All right. And the main thing that everybody saw was the increase in the gas and the fuel price, and so that increases everything. As we dealt with that, but I don't know if we deal with it and it will actually translate to some kind of equity. So tell me something. Coming out of the budget, utilities, electricity and water rates are to increase by 10%.
Well, I didn't hear that. I didn't hear them say that. I heard them say the RIC is considering it. So I'm thinking that is correct.
It is not cast in stone.
It's not cast in stone.
It has been a suggestion.
But let's discuss it. Electricity.
We've had subsidized electricity for years as well.
Yeah, but here you gotta get it right. The problem we have with electricity is TNTech was an integrated power generating company. And somewhere in 1994, they split it between the production,
Power Gen
and Incogen and Trinity Power, and distribution, which is TNTech with the lines and everything. We pay the distribution people. The problem is that TNTech has take or pay agreements with these power producers. The power producers producing more electricity than we are using. Those are the facts. But we have to pay for the full amount of the generating capacity of the producers, even though we're not using the electricity. So let's start there. If I am producing 100 units, you have to pay for it whether you use it or not. Right? So if you're only using 50 and you are selling 50, the structure of the contracts in itself is what creates that deficit. Right? In other words, so what the government has done now, remember, NGC sells gas to TNTech, which TNTech pays for. So the people who are producing the power, the gas they're using is paid for by TNTech. Imagine that. Now, when gas is produced in the country, a certain percentage of the gas produced is given to the government for public use through NGC. The challenge that we have now is that we are paying for electricity in TT dollars, and that is us, the customer. But the government is paying TGU and these people for the electricity and gas in US dollars. So there's a mismatch in terms of when our dollar depreciates, and people who look at the electricity bill would see that the electricity bill is linked to the exchange rate.
Right. Okay, I got you.
Right?
I got you.
So when people say, oh, I hear them say that TNTech owing so much millions, there's a structural issue that creates the inability of TNTech to pay the full cost of electricity. Because the cost of electricity is, as I tell you, is a take-or-pay agreement where the amount of electricity generated we're not using, but we're still paying for it.
Let me ask a foolish question, huh? How long has this been going on?
This has been going on for years. This is the type of contracts that we have signed.
And okay,
So
the contracts ain't up yet, and it's time to renegotiate and move forward.
well, that is what the government did with the oil companies, I remember. But I would expect them to do that because right now the generating companies making all the money, the people who are producing the gas making the money, and TNTech have to pay for it at the distribution side. And structurally, we can't. If you put the numbers,
The math's not
the
matching.
math's not matching.
I got you.
So,
okay.
what the government is saying is they want to increase the cost of electricity, right? Which means it reduces their subsidy, because that's the problem. The government will say, well, okay, we will leave the electricity rate is that, but we will pay the difference. But the difference they're paying is the difference between the producer, the power producer, giving you 100% and you only using 50% of.
Okay.
So electricity rates will go up. But here what I think is that people should understand. Why do we have to go to TNTech when we have solar power? So what the government has done is give incentives for solar power generation. Right? I'm talking about individuals. So if you're a farmer and you have the 10 acres of land in the bush, and you want to put up a little place to keep your stock or even for it to sleep in the night, you could use a solar panel and get electricity and lights in that venue. You don't have to fight up a TNTech. So my answer is I will tell everybody, time for you to think independent. That even if I put a solar panel on my roof and it costs, I can tell you, a 5,000 kilowatt solar panel system will cost about $90,000. Okay? A 5,000 kilowatt system will run your house without a electric stove and a dryer. But you'll be able to go on a that's a basic system, right?
90,000, you say?
90,000, yes, I've checked it. So what happens is that you put up your panels on your roof, and that's the end of you and TNTech. Now people will put up a steel roof, and spend 100,000, 200,000 on their roof alone. And that roof is I call it a vanity roof.
It is serving no purpose other than keeping the rain out your house.
That's right.
Okay.
But if you were to spend the same, less than that, and you put your panels on your roof, on top of your house, that's it. So TNTech raising prices, and people arguing.
But let me match this one. $90,000 for solar panels.
Yes.
Your electricity bill might be, depending on a house like that, should be $1,000 or between $700 to $1,000 every 2 months.
Yes.
So within 10, 12, 15 months, you have paid back for your solar panel roof.
That's right. That's how it works. No, even if you want, I've seen people do this. You use your garage and you put your panels on your garage. It means that you are reducing, you still have TNTech, but you are able to reduce the cost of your lighting of your house. In other words, you could put, it doesn't have to be a
It doesn't have to be all. You could start small.
That's right.
And start reducing.
And the incentives are there. The tax off is there. And they've taken VAT off for it.
To me, they've done that about the last 3 years, and people have not bitten into solar.
Because the electricity price is still low. But as the electricity price goes up now,
yeah, people start a bite.
We have to look at the alternative. And there's another alternative too. This thing about water. We're fighting up, and the government is saying how they're going to go for 24-hour water supplies by improving the distribution, national distribution network, right? I'm saying there are technological systems, like there's a thing called WaterGen, a product called WaterGen, that takes water, atmospheric conversion. It condenses water from the atmosphere. In our country, you need to have a humidity of over 25%. today our humidity in Trinidad is above 30%. So we are island nation. It means that you could have a unit in your house or in your yard that takes the air and creates the water. Yes. So whereas countries like Israel, because this is an Israeli system, they don't have no set of drains that run in with water. They have no set of rivers. So how do they get water? They get water from the air. So there are alternate systems to water that we are ignoring because everybody building the same house, going the same way, fighting up the same things and arguing with the minister when there are technological improvements that are there, available, and when you cost it, you cost the convenience of having one of these systems. So you don't study. You understand? Because one of the reasons why we use up so much water, you know what's the biggest user of water in your house? The toilet. Every time you get up, you flush a gallon. So we are producing potable water that is drinkable from the pipe and flushing it down the toilet. That's Trinidad. Right? So if we haven't done recycling, we haven't started to even within our homes, take the water from the roof and put it to wash the car. Everything is the pipe.
No, I think most people have a rainwater tank, but they don't use it in a sustainable kind of way.
That's right. So there's a cultural change that is required. I mean, I am not saying that the government not supposed to provide. I am saying that
we have to start to think.
You have to start to think and take responsibility. Because it's you going to complain I have no water. I would say, we have no water, get a water gen system. We have no electricity. There when they had the big blackout. Because when electricity gone, is your internet gone and everything gone, right?
Bossman, I lost 30 tilapia, 30 fish. This size. Ready to eat fish, eh?
Right.
And I'm watching them all the time and I won't eat them. And I lose all of them.
How?
They died.
Electricity?
Yeah. The backup battery lasts for 8 hours.
Right.
And that thing went for long.
Yes.
So that was it. It hurt me all along my toes.
Well, therefore I'm trying to tell you, you should have a little solar panel to run that.
I agree. I agree.
And what we're saying is, Trinidadians have to look around the world. When we talk about comparing ourselves to other countries, we have to compare ourselves in terms of taking personal responsibility for our finances and taking personal responsibility for the choices. And that's what the government is a facilitator, not your father. Right?
They're minding you.
They are minding you.
All right. Mr. Nurse said that unfortunately Trinis don't know how to eat little and live long.
that I would take that. Because it's not just living long, eating little and using little to live long.
Right.
Rather than simply complain, because you see, that goes back to our plantation economy. That is what was said by Dr. Lloyd Best. He said a plantation economy, everybody went to massa. The slaves had no choice. They get up in the morning and they say, well, I have no food. The master, like, give me that. And we have the same mindset. The government had to do that. And the government had to do that. And the government is trying to say to you, look, partner, I will facilitate you with taxes. I will facilitate you with tax credits. I will give you all the taxes off. That's all I could do, but you have to do something. So what they have done in the budget is the manufacturing sector. The manufacturing sector is now getting new incentives. Right? Let's talk about construction. The Housing Development Corporation will become a holding company. One company doing facilities management, one company doing the construction of the houses, and the next company is going to be doing the overall management of people's situations. So HDC is moving from being one company to 3 companies under a holding company, all owned by the government, right? Then they are merging TTMF and Home Mortgage Bank. Both of them are owned by the NIB. But the difference is the new unit will be able to give you mortgages and fund the construction of buildings. So with that integration of Home Mortgage Bank and TTMF. And the new structure for HDC, the construction sector in Trinidad and Tobago is going to get a lift to be able to produce more houses within another 2 or 3 year period, right? Then the minister also talk about the Land Settlement Agency and how they're giving incentives now for 2-bedroom houses where you could get up to $150,000 for a 2-bedroom house, then it goes up. And if they build it on a hill, they will give you a higher support. So they are subsidizing through the Land Settlement Agency, they're subsidizing some of these houses. So Trinidadians are getting the opportunity to build houses for $250,000 and $300,000 up to $500,000, which is about a good proper price for a 3-bedroom house, right? Subsidized by government through the Land Settlement Agency. And if you need to get a mortgage, you go to the integrated TTMF Home Mortgage Bank. If you are a developer, you go to the Home Mortgage Bank people, and what the minister also said is that the market for housing in Trinidad is still over 150,000 people. So there's pent-up demand.
Yes, though.
Right.
Yeah.
So what we're looking at is enabling success. But governments can't do it for us. We have to get up and do it for ourselves. And I'm saying that Trinidad and Tobago, we are people who are inventive. You see it with Carnival. We have innovation. We do it with other things. We are creative people. Look how many people singing. Amanda's win $200,000 singing there, right?
Yeah.
So I'm saying we have to harness that capacity.
But I didn't hear. Well, look, it's 7:52. We opened up the phone lines at 8 o'clock.
Right.
And people were calling and ask the defender of the budget, Louis. Ask the defender of the budget, some hard questions, right? I didn't hear, and I am sure, I didn't hear it, but I'm sure the statement on the entertainment and culture in the cultural industries would have been the same thing that they put last year and the year before and the year before. I'm sure there's no innovative nothing done for us.
Well, the truth is, the tourism sector was mentioned.
It was like I said, it was mentioned.
It was mentioned, the tourism sector. And let's look at the tourism sector this week. $3 billion was given to Tobago. Tobago get more money in this budget than they ever get before. They got $170 million more than they got last year.
170 million more.
That's right. The total amount that the Tobagoans are going to be enjoying is about $3 billion.
As opposed to what they had last year was 2.1?
2 point, yeah, it was 2 point something. I don't know.
Right, okay.
Right? But what I'm trying to show you...
I would love to know the rationale there.
No, the rationale there is that the development of Tobago has to continue. Remember, Tobago gets... The THA gets a direct stipend, and then there's money that's spent by government agencies. So what he said was that Sanctuary is going to private sector development. That's one of the hotels that has to be finished. Manta Lodge, which is another hotel in Speyside, that is going to private arrangements. And the Marriott Hotel is going to be built. You have the Comfort Inn that just opened. But all these spaces, tourism engages entertainment and culture.
Right.
And with the Tobago Carnival and all of that, what you have is a new ecosystem where people are coming in, whether locals coming to Tobago or people flying in. The bottom line is you have activities that will provide for entertainment. So right now, entertainment is getting a boost. If you look around, Movado was here last week.
I hear that, boss.
Welcome to you.
I don't know. I hear. Not my cup of tea, but
What I'm trying to tell you is that if you look at how many shows since Carnival, since last year, or the beginning of this year, when they move all the restrictions, look how much events are they having. Right? Even Louis and the Lynx has an event.
Yes. Do your free ad.
No, on the 8th of October, my friends will be able to enjoy the entertainer Louis, the pianist, at Napa with the steel band Stalif, Pullman Stalif. And all of this is in aid of the restoration of the St. Joseph Catholic Church.
Nice.
But what is important?
But let me ask you a question now. Are you, Louis, going to be joining the new digital economy and putting your concert for pay-per-view online?
Yes, yes. Well, you see, the facility, once we get it done, we will put it up when it's packaged. I don't like this to go live in the digital world, because then the errors or anything that goes wrong in the show, you have no control.
But it's live. That's why it's live. So you have to make sure it's good.
Yes, but in Trinidad,
I don't agree with that at all. Live is live. After you package it, it just doesn't have that appeal of no. I was quarreling about last night, that show, the Jubilee competition.
Yes, yes.
In fact, the phone lines opening, Truth Boy. In fact, they actually, the show started 5 o'clock.
Right.
It went on the TV at 7:30. In fact, when I started broadcasting, I already knew the results. You understand?
Yes.
And I find if you can't go live, don't take live. Don't say you're going live. Good evening, caller at 7:57.
Good.
Good evening.
So good to hear your voice, Louis. Can you, before I make my comment with regard to hearing Louis
Yes.
Louis response, I must say that I have to say that Mr. Nurse, Kenny, this is just another side of him. I must say that Mr. Nurse had to have a lot of patience and tenacity in when I must say, Kenny, I came third 3 consecutive times in textile calypso competition. And I'm now in my latter 60s. So I thank God for Mr. Nurse and those years of patience. Man, he have had patience of trying to make people become Kaifonians. So thank you, Louis. Thank you very much.
I've played with him. I've played with him sometimes in those situations. He had more patience than me.
Oh my gosh. But Louis, let me ask you this. I find that this budget, in light of the present world economic and considering one of the major agricultural world basket, which is Ukraine, is still in turmoil. To me, this was almost, I could say, an election budget. This is my personal view. I will almost say it was an election budget. Mr. Nurse, please tell me, how long can we as Trinis continue, Trinbagonians, continue through the government, continue to support these hundreds of millions of subsidies every year on the various sectors or industries, whether it is Caribbean Airlines, the Sea Bridge, TN-Tech, gas, a simple thing as a gas tank retaining at $21. So it's millions of dollars have to be subsidized. You understand?
That's right.
I am saying that I heard you, and I could be corrected, but I think TN-Tech, and I know plenty people have listened lately to the president of OWTA with his advertisement. TN-Tech have those bigger companies in the various sectors, industrial sectors, have to come to bring a better share of the deficit with regards to the equality of sharing that cost that have to be borne by the corporate soul with regards to TN-Tech. I think there have to be a more balanced equity with regards to these bigger companies. I still think, personally, I think they are getting away with too much, and they have to get a bigger thing. I hope you can give me your take on that. But finally, I'm seeing that I think that we are one of the better countries when coming to subsidies. We could just look at our Caribbean neighbors, which is they virtually are paying not only subsidies, but they are not subsidized, but they are paying taxes
Yes.
And if you only try to put a little stringency, look how they just carry up. I think it's diesel by 50 cents or 45 cents.
Yeah, 50 cents.
And you're gonna hear Friday that the opposition does not. They're gonna slam into this budget.
You know that that's the job. They have to do that.
Yes, Kenya, I know, but this budget was more or less a piece of cake. I was expecting more lash, But Louis, I just want to hear your take with regards to.
All right.
I think that those bigger industries are getting away with.
You had Louis smiling from ear to ear. Thank you so much, caller. Thank you. Oh gosh, one of your partners.
No, but the truth is, he's right.
The truth is the truth.
The truth is the truth. You see, what has happened is that when people talk about electricity on other parts of the Caribbean, they use diesel generation.
Mm-hmm.
We have natural gas. Our Trinidad and Tobago plant is a combined cycle plant that uses heat and natural gas. That is the TGU, which reduces the cost. So in Barbados and these countries, they're importing their diesel, they're importing their oil.
So we lucky.
But what I remember is a take or pay agreement they have. When Mittal left, there was a big space because Mittal was a big user.
Mm-hmm.
The 8 plants that closed down in Point Lisas that are now mothballed, the Yara plants and all of them, those plants are also electricity users.
Okay.
So what has happened is that TNTech is losing its largest customers.
Right.
And that's
the fact.
That's the fact.
Let's take this call. 802. Good evening, caller.
Good evening, Mr. Philip.
I was expecting the outside news. This is the outside news.
Yeah. He's from St. Joseph. I'm from Cuba. We neighbors.
No, you from Ocala. You from Ocala. Don't claim no Cuba up here.
Right. Couple questions and couple
observations.
Comments. Now, you mentioned something, Mr. Lewis, about 200,000 and a house. Is that a deposit for a house?
Yeah, what I said was the government was talking about low-cost housing, and that there is a subsidy that the minister mentioned, which was based on 3 levels, had to do with the topography. So if you look in the bill of house, you can get a subsidy through the Land Settlement Agency and that whole arrangement from government. Yes. So there's subsidized housing for people constructing their own houses with pre-approved plans.
All right, but the government said recently, I'm quite sure you're aware, that the people in AC houses owe so much $1 billion.
Yeah, but
putting more into that.
No, hold on.
I mean,
the Minister of Housing made the statement that that people owe $1 billion in rents, right, to HEC.
Yes.
But that was affecting the HEC's capacity to continue to construct new houses.
Definitely, sure.
Right, but you have to remember that people owing rents to HDC, there's a social issue there that you could argue that it's not the right thing, but HEC also has a social mandate. So it's for the government to collect the rent. It's not about anything else.
Politics.
Yes.
If we put them on the street, they won't vote for us. I mean, let's be real. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, who are most of the malingerers. Okay? Now,
I like that word.
Yes. Now,